Welcome to block 7. Once again, I have pre-made some pieces. Pre-made one block so you can see what we're working on. Most of this is just strips and cutting, which is kind of difficult for me to do, but we're going to work on it. The first thing we need to do is to put together a 3.5 inch O and M. I have these ready to sew. I'm going to sew a couple of strips together, and then we're going to look at how to just put everything together. Check your 1/4 inch seam. Check your bobbin and your needle. You don't want to run out of bobbin halfway through. So we're going to do one of the wide strips and one of the skinny strips, and then we'll discuss how to press and to cut apart. And I already have some ready to sew together. This is one of the easier blocks. And this is month 7. We're getting closer. I'm going to sew together a set of N and L. They are 2-inch strips. I'm sure everybody is very familiar with sewing strips together by now. Let's clip these off. You're going to want to set your seam. Open it up and press to the dark. Make sure you get that open and nothing is creased like that. There's that one. Put the dark on top. Set your seam. Okay, now let's look at trimming. I'm going to hold this up so maybe it will be easier for you to see. When I'm trimming, I like to put one line here so that I make sure I'm cutting it straight. I do that with every cut. So we'll cut off a few pieces for here. I like to straighten up the edge. And we're cutting 2-inch pieces from here. I'm only going to cut a couple because we need to sew. So you can see you just keep sliding one line across your center seam here to be sure you get everything cut accurate. Same with this one. This gets cut to 3.5 inches. And what I discovered on this one, if you trim off very much from here, you're not going to have enough left to get all your pieces out of here. This ruler is a little short, but I don't have a bigger one with me. Once again, line up on this center line. And we'll cut a couple of 3.5 inch pieces. Okay, now we're going to put this aside so we can assemble a block. Following your instructions, we're going to sew together 2 units, M and O. This is M, the dark is O. Sew one of those. Then we're going to go ahead and make one of the M and the K. So we can do that at the same time. Flip it over, lock your seams. This is so easy after some of the other blocks we've made. Take this off, press, then we'll work on our other pieces. Once again, we're going to flip our seams. So we have that nice little fore patch in there. Kind of finger press it. Then press it with your iron. And you can see by locking your seams, everything matches there. It's not always going to be exact, but we are dealing with fabric. Let's get this one pressed. Put those aside. Now we've already stitched our pieces for here. We're going to assemble an E and N. We need 4 of these for a block. We need 4 of these for a block. We're just going to match them together and start sewing. So you can sew all 4 of these units for one block at a time, or you can sew all 32. It's up to you. Personally, I think if I was doing as you are, I would just go ahead and do all 32. It's not easy for me to do that and try to teach you how I'm doing it. Make sure you lock those seams because you want nice sharp corners. Small pieces to work with compared to some of what we've done. A much faster block than we've been doing. It helps if you get that in underneath. So let's cut these apart. Need to pull this out because this is what I've been teaching you to not do. Same as before, we're going to flip our seams, make this nice and flat. We'll do all 4 of them at the same time. Look how cute these little pieces are. Let's give them all a nice press. Check the backs to make sure every seam went the correct direction. And once again, we have a nice point in the center. Now we are ready to do an assembly. These are considered your unit 4s. We need 2 pieces of our 3.5 inch squares of an E. We're going to put an E here and an E here. Then we're going to place these there and there. And since we need to do 4 right now, let's go ahead and just do all 4 of them. Get 2 more pieces of E. We're going to assembly sew. Apparently I need some caffeine. And with these, we don't have any concerns about matching points right now. When we get ready to sew the 2 pieces together, we will. I thought this was one of the most fun blocks. It's quick, not a lot of pieces, but it's very pretty. let's open everybody back up. There. And there. And we're going to flip these over. I didn't press it because I want to be able to lock this seam first. Next one, same way. So as you're doing them, you could do all 8 at the same time. Okay. Cut these apart. Going to flip our seams again. Once you get in a habit of doing this, you'll realize how much flatter your blocks are. There's one. And there's the other. Now we are ready to assemble a block. So we need a unit 2A, which is M and O. Dark goes in the corner. We need these 2 units, which you can see where the dark goes. That way. And there. And then we need one of unit 2B, which is the M and K. So as you sew it together, all of the M's line up. So let's flip these. Match up our seam. Don't like the way that one pressed out, so let's press it just a little nicer. It didn't follow instructions. It's on the top. And the bottom. And now we'll have some joints to make sure that they seat together well. If you have any questions on anything, send me a message on the Facebook page and I will get back to you. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. And I actually have used, this makes me use all of the little pieces that I have cut off since block 1. So again, we're going to flip our seams. Give it a light press to get that seam open. All of our little corners are good. That finishes this for month 7. See you next month.